time. So it's important that you practice them, so if they ever happen to you in a match, they won't cost you the game.
Thank you, Tony. Of course, sometimes in a game or in a break, there may not be an obvious pot on. It looks like your opponent has left you safe, or you've just got out of position during a break. That's where I think some of the American pool players could teach us a lesson in looking for possible plants, doubles, combination shots. And of course, Cliff Thorburn from Canada has a lot of experience not only at snooker, but also at playing pool. And who better to introduce this section?
So now that we've been through all the basic techniques of the game of snooker, and hopefully you've had a bit of practice doing it, we're going to go straight to match-type situations, and we're going to start off with the break shot, which is very important indeed. Ideally, what I would like to do is to strike the cue ball on the right-hand side, striking the second row of reds on the right-hand side, so that the cue ball strikes the top cushion, side cushion, comes down between the pink and the blue, side cushion, down to here, so that if the cue ball is here, your opponent can't see anything here or here, and the only balls that he can see is through this gap between the brown and the blue. That's not bad, that one. Notice that the cue ball is tight on the cushion, and that always helps. Sometimes during a game you're faced with a shot like this. This is called a shot to nothing, which means that if you miss the pot, the cue ball is still going to come around down here and hopefully go safe. If you pot the red ball, then hopefully you'll still finish on a buck color here, and then you have to pot one of these and then go back down to the reds and hopefully build up a big break. So this is called a shot to nothing. Hopefully you'll pot it. But as you see, the cue ball is coming back down the table. Now, if you would have missed that shot, then obviously you wouldn't have left too much. But now you're back on the green ball with a chance to go back down to the reds and hopefully compile a big break. This is called a plant, or else in North America it's called a combination. And as you can see, the two balls are touching, and they're headed right towards the corner pocket with the cue ball right in behind it. Now, if the cue ball was just slightly to the right, you would still have to play this first red as if you're cutting it straight into the corner pocket, but just cut it a bit right. And if the cue ball was over here, then you still cut the red slightly to the left, but obviously the first ball is still going to go in. So I'm dead behind the cue ball here. I just have to aim dead on, and that should happen. Once again, another plant. This one's not quite as obvious. In fact, the red ball is about 3 or 4 inches apart, and what I have to do here is make it myself, so to speak. So what you must do first of all is get down as if this first red was the cue ball, and you just come around, try and find the angle like this. And once you find the angle, you just go straight through that ball. And you find an angle on the cushion here, and you try and play this first red into this small piece of chalk. And think that this is the pocket and not that. And don't forget to play a position on the shot as well. And that should happen. So now we come to one of the truly strange type of situations that can actually happen in any ball game at all. Now, it's still a plant. The two balls are still touching. Now, remember that this shot is only possible when the balls are touching, or I'd say about maybe 1/4 of an inch apart. Now, as you can see, these two balls are lined up towards this piece of chalk here. Now, for those of you that have played a little bit before, when you play a plant, you normally think, in order to make this ball here, or the first ball, is to cut the first red on my side to the left-hand side to throw this one off to the right. But obviously, this doesn't apply when the two balls are touching. Now, I'll try and explain to you why. Now what you have to do here is aim on the opposite side of the first red and just try and hit about a quarter of the ball, and you'll just see what happens here. It just absolutely just threw red away and went straight into the pocket. In order to make a plant, obviously you've got to see that 2 or 3 balls are actually lined up towards a pocket. So if you can see that there's 2 or 3 balls lined up towards the pocket, well then walk around and see if they are actually lined up towards the pocket. Now on this particular shot here, this is a 6-ball plant, and I've thrown in a little kiss-off as well. So these 2 balls are going to strike these 2. This ball here is going to cannon onto this one, and then it's going to cannon off that onto these 2 balls and pot that red into the corner pocket. No position. Anything else? You want a little wizardry here? What do you want?
Right, well, this shot here is called the disappearing shot. The idea is to pop the 3 balls in the 2 corner pockets. The black and the white should go in the right corner, and the red should go in the left. First time. This time we're going to try and make use of the red balls and pop the black into the other corner pocket, to spin the black around the reds. Go.
The double is a very interesting shot. It's a shot that I would like to see personally played a lot more, but for some reason people tend to shy away from it, or in fact are scared of it. Now all that I have to do is just strike the red with the cue ball. The red strikes the cushion, hits the cushion, comes across, and goes into the middle pocket. This is a shot that you should practice because it comes in handy quite a bit. And it should work out something like that with some practice. Right, well now we're faced with a situation. Now we'll say that there's 2 different situations here. First of all, on the first one, you're 28 points in front, and all they need obviously is the last red. So here I want to play a slow double so that if I miss the red ball, then the cue ball is going to be coming down in behind the black, because obviously I don't need a color because my opponent will need snooker, so I double this one in. I missed it, but I've left the red ball safe. Now, if you were 33 points behind, then still faced with the same shot, this time you've got to play position on a color, and it's going to have to be either the pink or the black. So I'll hit this one a little bit firmer. And I'm on the black, and if I would have gone a bit too far, I would still have the pink in the middle pocket. So if you can do that, you'll be in pretty good shape. Now we're going to get into the snookering side of it. If you're snookered, what's the best way to go about it? Obviously, if the object ball is within 7, 8 inches, 12 inches of the cushion, it's a lot easier to actually play it off the cushion if you can. And sometimes, you know, if you can't play it off the cushion, then obviously you've got to play a masse shot. But from this position here, I would say the shot is to play it off the cushion. Or else if the ball was just slightly out, say, from this position, which means that I can't actually go one cushion and strike the red. So I've only got one alternative left, and that's to play the swerve or the masse shot. So first of all, I have to raise the butt of my cue, striking down on the cue ball on the right-hand side of it. And the cue ball is going to throw out to the left around the brown and then come back in again to strike the red.